Hey, are you okay?
Travis asked a trembling girl behind a strip mall. 4 guys blocking her way. She looked up.
Please, just go.
Derek stepped forward, eyeing Travis.
You stink like a sewer rat. Get back to your hole before I crush you.
Let her go.
Bryce shoved Travis.
Or what? Want to be a hero? Your mama owes us money, darling. Either you pay or we take it all. Stay away from her scum!
Travis pushed him back. Derek's crew rolled up their sleeves. Travis didn't flinch. She whispered,
Please run. Why are you doing this?
Because someone has to.
Travis encouraged her. A penniless black boy, protecting a girl he's never met. He doesn't know who she really is. And he doesn't know what this decision will cost him, or what it will bring. 14 hours earlier, 5:12 a.m. The alarm didn't go off, because there was no alarm. Travis Griffin had trained his body to wake up before the sun, every single day. No days off, no sleeping in, no just 5 more minutes. He sat on the edge of his bed, if you could call it that. A mattress on the floor, sheets washed so many times they felt like paper. The room was small. Bare walls, one window with a crack running down the middle, taped over with packing tape, but it was clean. Everything in that house was clean. Because that's how his grandmother raised him. Ruth Griffin was already up. 68 years old, bad knees, worse lungs, and a heart that doctors said needed monitoring every 3 months. But she hadn't seen a doctor in 11. Not because she didn't want to, because $1,800 stood between her and that appointment. Travis walked into the kitchen. Ruth was sitting at the table, sorting her pills into a weekly organizer. Some of the slots were empty. She'd been cutting doses in half to make them last longer. He noticed, but he never said anything. "Morning, Grandma." "Morning, baby. You eat yet?" "I'm good." "That means no." She pointed to the stove. "Oatmeal. Eat." He smiled, poured himself a bowl, sat across from her. This was their routine. Quiet, steady, unspoken love. No big speeches, no dramatic hugs, just oatmeal and presence. Ruth looked at him and adjusted the collar on his jacket. "You look sharp today." Travis laughed. "Grandma, this jacket's from Goodwill." "And? You wear it like it's Gucci." That was Ruth. She could make you feel like $1,000,000 with nothing but words and a look. She never complained. Not about the bills, not about the pain, not about the fact that she was raising her grandson alone because his mother left when he was 4 and his father was never in the picture. She just showed up every single day. Travis grabbed his bag, taped up textbook inside, half a sandwich for lunch, bus pass that expired 2 days ago. He kissed Ruth on the forehead. "I'll be back after my shift." "You working both jobs today?" "Yeah." "Travis." "Grandma, I'm fine." She looked at him the way only grandmothers can, like she could see every lie, every tired bone, every worry he was trying to hide. "You're 18, baby. You're supposed to be young." "I'll be young later." He walked out the door into the dark. The streetlight on their block had been broken for 6 months. Nobody came to fix it. Nobody ever did. 5:38 a.m. Henderson's Gas and Go. The kind of gas station where the fluorescent lights buzz so loud you can hear them over the pumps. Travis clocked in, put on his vest, and started wiping down the counter. The morning regulars came and went. A truck driver who always bought black coffee and left the dollar tip. Not much, but Travis noticed every time. An elderly man who struggled with his grocery bag. Travis walked around the counter and carried it to his car. That's just who he was. Then Denise Carter pulled up. 34, single mom from 2 doors down, the kind of neighbor who never waited to be asked for help. She walked in with a plastic bag and set it on the counter. "What's this?" Travis asked. "Groceries." "Denise, I can't." "Boy, take the bag. Pride doesn't keep the lights on." He looked at her. She looked at him. He took the bag. "How's Miss Ruth?" she asked. "She's good." "Liar," Denise smiled. "But okay." She left. Travis put the bag under the counter and went back to work. Quiet kindness. No cameras, no posts, no audience. Just people taking care of people, because that's what you do when the system won't do it for you. 6:45 a.m. Travis was restocking the cooler when he noticed someone across the street. A girl sitting alone at the bus stop. White, maybe 19. Oversized hoodie, earbuds in, staring at nothing. Something about her felt off. Not dangerous, just lost. Like she was carrying something heavy nobody else could see. Like she didn't belong in this neighborhood, but had nowhere else to go. Travis watched her for a moment. Something told him to walk over, ask if she was okay. But then a customer pulled in. The pump beeped. He went back to work. He didn't think about her again. Not yet. 7:25 a.m. Travis walked into school 14 minutes late. Again. Mrs. Patterson didn't even look up from her desk. She just pulled out the red attendance book and drew a line through his name. 3rd tardy this month. "One more, Griffin. One more, and you lose your seat in AP English." "Yes, ma'am." He sat down. Didn't argue. Didn't explain that he'd been working since 5:30 in the morning. Didn't mention that his bus pass expired, and he'd walked 40 minutes in the dark to get here. What would be the point? The rule was the rule. After class, Patricia Moore, the school guidance counselor, stopped him in the hallway. "Travis, can I talk to you for a second?" He already knew what it was about. He could tell by the way she held the folder. Tight, like she didn't want to open it. "You're behind on your exam fee. $65. If it's not paid by Friday, you can't sit for the AP test." $65. That was a week and a half at the gas station. That was also half of this month's electric bill. "Can I get an extension?" Moore sighed. "I wish I could, but the deadline is district level. My hands are tied." Travis nodded. "Okay, thank you." He walked away. Didn't slam a door, didn't curse. Just walked to the cafeteria, sat in the back corner, opened his taped-up textbook, and started doing homework while eating half a sandwich. Around him, kids were talking about prom, about college visits, about which car their parents were buying them for graduation. Travis chewed his sandwich and solved for X. Lunchtime. A group of classmates walked past his table. One of them, a kid named Bryce Sutton, wearing brand-new Jordans, looked down at Travis's shoes. Beat-up Nikes with a sole coming loose on the left foot. "Bro, are those from 2019? His friends laughed. Travis didn't look up. "Yo, I'm talking to you. Where'd you get those? A dumpster?" Travis kept writing, kept chewing, kept solving for X. Bryce leaned in. "Must be nice being poor. No decisions to make, right? Just survive." Travis finally looked up. Calm. steady. "You done?" Bryce blinked, then laughed it off and walked away. But the cafeteria had gone quiet for a second. Everyone heard it. Nobody said anything. Travis went back to his homework. 3:45 p.m. Travis came home and knew something was wrong before he opened the door. The house was dark. Not evening dark. Power out dark. He flipped the switch. Nothing. On the kitchen counter, a past due notice from the electric company. $340. Final warning. Service terminated. Ruth was sitting in the living room with a blanket over her legs, candles on the coffee table. She looked up and smiled like nothing was wrong. "Hey, baby, how was school?" "Grandma, the power." "I know. We've got candles. It's fine." It wasn't fine. Travis picked up the notice. Underneath it was another envelope from the hospital. He opened it. Ruth's specialist appointment had been canceled. Reason? Outstanding balance. $1,800. "Grandma, when did this come?" "Last week." "Last week? Why didn't you tell me?" "Because you've got enough on your plate, baby. You don't need my problems, too." Travis stood in that dark kitchen, holding two pieces of paper that represented everything he couldn't fix. He pulled out his phone and called the hospital. Automated system. Press 1 for English. Press 3 for billing. Hold music. 4 minutes. Then disconnected. He called again. Same thing. Automated voice. Hold music. 3 minutes. Disconnected again. No human, no help. Just a system designed to make you give up. He put the phone down on the counter. Slowly. Carefully. Like if he moved too fast, something inside him would break. He walked out to the front porch, sat on the steps, pressed his palms against his eyes, breathed. The neighborhood was quiet. A dog barking somewhere. Someone's TV through a thin wall. The kind of quiet that feels heavier than sound. 5 minutes later, Denise came over with a lamp and an extension cord running from her house. "Here, plug this in through the window." "Denise, don't. Just take it." He took it. The lamp came on. One small circle of light in a dark house. Ruth smiled from her chair. Travis stood in the doorway, watching her face glow in that borrowed light. He didn't say anything. He just stood there, making sure she was okay. Making sure somebody was still here for her. 8:47 p.m. Travis was walking home from his second shift, tired, the kind of tired that sits behind your eyes and doesn't leave. He took the shortcut through the back lot behind the strip mall, same route he always took, faster, quieter, usually empty. Not tonight. He heard it before he saw it. A girl's voice, sharp, scared, then laughter. Male laughter. The kind that isn't funny. Travis stopped. Every instinct told him to keep walking. Mind your business. Get home. Grandma's waiting. But his feet didn't move. He looked around the corner. 4 guys. 1 girl. She was on the ground, back against the wall, arms wrapped around herself. They were standing over her, circling, blocking every way out. Derek Holloway, 22. Next to him, Bryce, Nolan, Jake. His crew. His shadows. "Your mama owes us money, darling," Derek said, crouching down to her level. "Either you pay, or we take it all." The girl, Lily, not that Travis knew her name, was shaking. 19 years old, wearing an oversized hoodie that swallowed her whole. She looked like she hadn't eaten properly in days. "I don't have it," she whispered. "Please, I don't have anything." "Then we got a problem, don't we?" He could have walked away. Nobody would have known. He had every reason to turn around. He stepped forward. Hey, are you okay?" Derek turned, looked Travis up and down. The gas station vest, the worn-out shoes, the tired eyes. "You stink like a sewer rat. Get back to your hole before I crush you." "Let her go." Bryce shoved Travis. "Or what? Want to be a hero?" Derek leaned toward Lily again. "Either you pay, or we take it all." Travis stepped between them and pushed Derek back. "Stay away from her, scum!" The alley went silent. Derek's face changed. His crew rolled up their sleeves. 4 of them. 1 of him. Travis knew the math. He didn't care. Lily grabbed his arm from behind. "Please, run! Why are you doing this?" "Because someone has to." He didn't move, didn't back down, stood there like a wall between her and everything that wanted to hurt her. Seconds felt like hours. Derek stepped forward. Travis didn't step back. Then, sirens. Someone in the strip mall had called 911. Blue and red lights flooded the alley. Derek's crew scattered like roaches, but they didn't get far. 2 officers cut them off at the parking lot entrance. But here's the thing nobody talks about. When Officer Ray Brennan arrived and looked at the scene, a black kid standing, a white girl on the ground, 4 white guys being held back, he didn't ask what happened. He didn't check on the girl first. He didn't look at the security cameras mounted on the building behind him. He walked straight to Travis. "Hands behind your back." "I didn't do anything." "Hands behind your back." Travis looked at Lily. She was staring at him, eyes wide, trying to speak, but the words wouldn't come. He looked back at Brennan. The officer's hand was already on the cuffs. Travis put his hands behind his back. Slowly, quietly. Brennan cuffed him, walked him to the cruiser, put him in the back seat, closed the door. Through the window, Travis watched Lily being helped up by a paramedic. She kept pointing at him, kept shaking her head, kept trying to tell them something. Nobody was listening. Travis sat in that cruiser, wrists behind his back, watching the one person who knew the truth try to scream it into a world that had already made up its mind. The interrogation room smelled like stale coffee and floor cleaner. 1 table, 2 chairs, a fluorescent light that buzzed like the one at Henderson's Gas and Go, except this one felt like it was buzzing inside Travis's skull. He sat alone. No lawyer, no family. Ruth didn't know he was here. She couldn't drive. She didn't have a phone that worked past 9 p.m. because the prepaid minutes ran out. And even if she did, what would she do? Walk here on bad knees at midnight? Officer Brennan walked in, dropped a folder on the table, sat down, didn't offer water, didn't ask if Travis was hurt, just opened the folder and clicked his pen. "Let's start from the beginning. What were you doing behind that strip mall at 8:47 p.m.? "Walking home from work." "From work? At a gas station?" "Yes, sir." "And you just happened to walk into an alley where 4 guys were standing around?" "They weren't standing around. They were threatening a girl." Brennan didn't write that down. He tapped his pen on the table twice, then asked the next question like Travis hadn't said anything at all. "Did you put your hands on anyone tonight?" "I pushed one of them away from her. That's it." "You pushed him? With force?" He was leaning over her. She was on the ground. So you initiated physical contact. I was trying to help. That's not what I asked. Brennan leaned back. I asked if you initiated physical contact. Yes or no? Travis looked at him. Really looked at him. And in that moment, he understood something he'd always known but never had to feel this directly. It didn't matter what happened. It mattered what Brennan decided happened. Yes. I pushed him. Brennan wrote it down, underlined it. Thank you. The next 40 minutes were more of the same. Brennan asked questions designed to build a case, not find the truth. He framed every answer. He ignored what didn't fit. At 11:15 p.m., Denise Carter showed up at the station. Someone from the neighborhood had called her. Word travels fast when a cop car takes one of your own. I'm here for Travis Griffin. Where is he? The desk officer looked at her. Relation? I'm his neighbor. His grandmother can't be here. I'm the closest thing he's got right now. Only family or legal counsel can. Then get him legal counsel. Right now. Ma'am, it's almost midnight, and he's 18 years old sitting in there alone. You think that's okay? The desk officer shifted in his seat. Denise pulled out her phone and called the local legal aid number. No answer. After hours. She called again. Voicemail. She left a message, voice steady, words sharp. Then she sat down in the lobby and waited. She wasn't leaving. Meanwhile, 12 miles away, Lily Anderson was lying in a hospital bed, exhausted. Her hands were still shaking. She kept looking at the door like she expected someone to walk through it, but she didn't know who. A nurse checked her vitals. How are you feeling, honey? Where's the guy who helped me? The nurse paused. What guy? The one who stood between me and them. Where is he? A second officer, not Brennan, had been assigned to take Lily's statement. He sat beside her bed with a recorder and a notepad. Can you tell me what happened tonight? Lily told him everything. 4 guys cornered her behind the strip mall. They were threatening her over a debt her mother owed. She was alone. She couldn't run. Then a stranger, a black kid she'd never seen before, stepped in. He didn't throw punches. He didn't pull a weapon. He stood between her and them and refused to move. He saved me, Lily said. He didn't know me. He had no reason to help. But he did. The officer wrote it all down. Every word. This statement directly contradicted Brennan's report, which described Travis as the aggressor who initiated physical contact and escalated the confrontation. The officer flagged the discrepancy and forwarded both reports to the precinct supervisor. But that would take time, and time was something Travis didn't have. 1:48 a.m. Travis was released pending investigation. No charges filed yet, but Brennan made sure to tell him personally at the door. I'm recommending assault charges. You used force. That's a crime. I pushed a guy who was threatening a girl. That's your version. I've got 4 witnesses who say different. 4 witnesses? You mean the 4 guys who were attacking her? Brennan's jaw tightened. Watch your mouth, kid. You're 18. This isn't juvie. This is real court. And if I have my way, you'll have a record before graduation. Travis walked out into the night. 1:48 in the morning. No ride, no bus. 14 blocks home. He walked every single one. When he got home, Ruth was awake, sitting in the living room by candlelight. The power was still out. The borrowed lamp from Denise glowed in the corner. Ruth's face was tight with worry. Baby, where have you been? Travis sat down next to her. He told her a version of the truth, the safe version, a misunderstanding. He was helping someone. The police had questions. It's all sorted now. Ruth didn't believe him. He could see it in her eyes. But she didn't push. She just put her hand on his and held it. You're a good boy, Travis. Don't let anyone tell you different. He didn't sleep that night. By morning, his name was on a local crime blotter website. The headline read, "Teen detained after altercation behind strip mall." No context, no mention of Lily, no mention of Derek. Just Travis's name and the word altercation. At school, whispers started before first period. Kids glanced at him in the hallway. Some looked away, some didn't. Bryce Sutton, the same kid who mocked his shoes, walked past and muttered, "Told you. Just survive, right?" Travis kept walking, but there was one person who'd read more than the headline. Patricia Moore, the guidance counselor, had received a copy of Lily's statement through the school's incident liaison. She read the whole thing. Then she read it again. That afternoon, she pulled Travis aside. I read the police report, both versions. Travis looked at her, didn't say anything. I'm extending your AP exam deadline. You'll have 2 more weeks to pay the fee. Mrs. Moore, you said... I know what I said. I'm saying something different now. It was small. It was quiet. It didn't fix anything. But for the first time in 2 days, someone inside the system looked at Travis Griffin and saw the truth. It wasn't enough. Not nearly. But it was a start. A few days passed. Travis went back to his routine, or what was left of it. School, gas station, home, take care of Grandma. Repeat. He kept his head down and his mouth shut. That was the plan. Just get through. Then Lily showed up. She walked into Henderson's Gas and Go on a Tuesday afternoon, wearing the same oversized hoodie, carrying 2 cups of coffee from the shop across the street. She set one on the counter in front of Travis. He looked at it, then at her. I don't know your name, she said. Travis. I'm Lily. She paused. I've been looking for you. Why? Because you stood in front of 4 guys for me, and I didn't even get to say thank you. Travis picked up the coffee, took a sip. You didn't have to come all this way for that. Yeah, I did. They talked for 10 minutes during his break. Awkward at first. 2 people from completely different worlds trying to find common ground. Lily didn't say much about herself. She mentioned living with her mom, working at a coffee shop, taking classes at the community college. She said her parents were separated and quickly left it at that. She didn't mention a father. Not once. Travis didn't push. He wasn't the type. But he noticed things. Lily carried 2 phones, a cheap, prepaid one she used in front of people, and a second one she kept buried in her hoodie pocket. She looked over her shoulder every time a car engine got too loud. She flinched at the sound of motorcycles. She had dark circles under her eyes that coffee couldn't fix. Her nails were bitten down to nothing. She smiled, but the smile never quite reached her eyes. She came back the next day, and the day after that, always with 2 coffees, always during his break. They'd sit on the bench outside the gas station and talk about nothing important. School, music, bad customers, worse weather. She laughed at his jokes. He pretended hers were funny too. It felt normal, almost safe. But Travis could feel it. something underneath. Something Lily wasn't saying. Something heavy she was carrying alone. He didn't know what it was. Not yet. It started with an envelope. Travis found it in the mailbox on the Thursday morning. Thin, white, official. County Court stamped in the corner. He stood on the porch and opened it with his thumb. His hands were steady. His chest was not. Aggravated assault. Felony charge. Adult court. Brennan had done it. He'd filed the formal recommendation, and the DA's office had picked it up. The court summons listed a preliminary hearing date 3 weeks out. If convicted, criminal record, possible prison time, permanent. No expungement, no second chance. Travis read it twice, then folded it, put it in his back pocket, walked inside. Ruth was in the kitchen making tea. He didn't tell her. That afternoon, things got worse. The school called him into the principal's office. 2 administrators and Patricia Moore sat across from him. Moore's eyes were red. She'd been arguing before he walked in. He could tell. Travis, in light of the pending charges, we're required to enforce our zero-tolerance policy on violence-related incidents. I didn't commit any violence. The charges say otherwise. Until the case is resolved, you're suspended. My AP exam will have to wait. Travis looked at Moore. She was gripping the edge of the table like she wanted to flip it. But she didn't say a word. Couldn't. The policy was above her. The system was above her. And Travis was beneath all of it. He stood up, picked up his bag, and walked out. In the hallway, Moore caught up with him. Travis, I tried. I know. I'm going to keep trying. He nodded. But they both knew what trying meant inside a system that had already decided who he was. When he got to Henderson's, it was the same story. The manager, a guy named Phil, who'd always liked Travis, wouldn't look him in the eye. Corporate says we can't keep you on while there's an open case. Liability issue. Phil, you know me. I know. I'm sorry, Travis. I really am. Travis took off his vest, folded it, set it on the counter, walked out. In 72 hours, he'd lost his school, his job, and his future. All because he didn't walk away from a girl who needed help. Then Derek came back. Not in person. He was out on bail with a no-contact order. But his crew wasn't. Travis came home one evening to find Denise's front tire slashed. A rock through Ruth's bedroom window. Taped to it, one word. Snitch. Denise was furious. I'm calling the police. I already did, Travis said quietly. Officer Brennan took the report. And nothing. He filed it. That's it. Denise stared at him. She understood. The system wasn't broken. It was working exactly the way it was designed to work, just not for them. Travis boarded up the window with plywood from the hardware store. He paid for it with the last $22 in his wallet. Ruth watched from the couch, hands trembling. Travis, maybe you should talk to someone. A lawyer, maybe. With what money, Grandma? She didn't answer. She just sat there, looking at the boarded-up window, and something in her face shifted. Not anger, not sadness. Something worse. The look of a woman who'd spent 68 years being strong and was running out of reasons to keep going. That night, Travis heard a sound from Ruth's room. A thud. Then silence. He ran in. Ruth was on the floor beside her bed, eyes closed, breathing but shallow. Her medication organizer was knocked off the nightstand. Half the slots were empty. "Grandma! Grandma, can you hear me?" He called 911. His voice didn't shake. His hands did. The ambulance came in 7 minutes. They loaded Ruth onto a stretcher. Travis rode with her, holding her hand the entire way. She opened her eyes once, looked at him, and whispered, "I'm sorry, baby." He squeezed her hand tighter. Don't you dare apologize." At the hospital, they told him she'd had a stress-induced episode. Her heart, her blood pressure, everything that had been managed for years was suddenly unmanaged. She needed monitoring. She needed tests. She needed a specialist she hadn't seen in 11 months. The nurse at the front desk handed him a clipboard. "We'll need insurance information and a contact for billing." "She doesn't have insurance." The nurse paused, looked at him, then looked at the clipboard. "The estimated out-of-pocket cost will be approximately $14,000. Travis didn't respond. He just took the clipboard and sat down. Travis sat in the hallway outside her room, alone. Court summons in his back pocket. No job, no school, no money. Grandmother behind a door he couldn't walk through because visiting hours were over. He put his head in his hands and sat there for a long time. Lily found him like that. She'd gone to the gas station. Travis wasn't there. Then his house. Boarded window, dark, no answer. Denise told her everything. The charges, the suspension, Ruth. Lily drove to the hospital, walked through the emergency entrance, found Travis sitting on a plastic chair in a fluorescent hallway, looking like the last person left on Earth. "Travis!" He looked up. His eyes were dry, but everything behind them wasn't. "Hey. Why didn't you tell me?" "Tell you what? That doing the right thing completely ruined my life?" Lily sat down next to him. She looked at the court summons sticking out of his pocket. She pulled it out gently, read it. Her face changed. Not surprise, not pity. Something harder. Something that looked like a decision being made. "This is because of me," she said. "No, this is because of them." "Travis, listen to me. This is my fault, and I'm going to fix it." "Lily, you can't fix this. You don't know what I have." She stood up, walked to the end of the hallway, pulled out her second phone, not the burner, the real one, the one she kept buried in her hoodie for 3 years, the one with a number she hadn't dialed since she was 16. Her thumb hovered over the screen. 3 years of silence. 3 years of proving she didn't need him. 3 years of swallowed pride and stubborn independence and late-night fights with her mother about money they didn't have and a father who wasn't there. All of it, every single day of it, balanced on this one moment. She pressed call. It rang twice. A voice answered, deep, careful, like a man who'd been waiting for this call but didn't dare believe it would come. "Lily?" She closed her eyes. "Dad, I need your help." Silence on the other end. 3 long seconds that felt like 3 years. Then, "Tell me everything." Conrad Anderson hadn't heard his daughter's voice in 3 years. 3 years of unanswered calls. 3 years of birthday cards returned unopened. 3 years of wiring money to an account Lily never touched. He'd built Iron Oath Motorcycle Club from nothing. 12 guys in a garage. Now, 200 members across 4 states. He'd grown Anderson Logistics into a $90 million freight empire. He could move mountains when he wanted to. But he couldn't get his daughter to pick up the phone, and now she had. Within an hour of the call, Conrad had Hank Dawson, his VP, his right hand, the man who'd ridden beside him for 23 years on a plane. Hank landed that night, picked up Lily, and drove her to a hotel suite downtown. Conrad flew in the next morning. The reunion was quiet. No shouting, no crying. Just two people standing in a hotel room, 3 years of silence filling the space between them. "You look tired," Conrad said. "You look old," Lily said. A pause. Then the smallest smile from both of them. "Tell me what happened," he said. "All of it." Lily sat on the edge of the bed and told him everything. The debt her mother owed Derek, the night behind the strip mall, the 4 guys who cornered her, and the stranger, a kid named Travis Griffin, who stepped between her and all of it. She told him what happened after. The arrest, the charges, the suspension, the job loss, the grandmother collapsing, the hospital bill, all of it falling on an 18-year-old kid who had nothing and still chose to protect someone he didn't know. Conrad listened without interrupting. His face didn't move, but Lily knew her father. She could see the tension in his jaw, the way his hands gripped the armrest. He wasn't calm. He was controlled. There's a difference. When she finished, he asked one question. "The officer who arrested him, what's his name?" "Brennan. Ray Brennan." Conrad picked up his phone and made one call. Edmund Walsh, his attorney for 15 years, the kind of lawyer who didn't just know the law. He knew how to use it. "Edmund, I need everything on a case. Travis Griffin, felony assault charge, adult court. Arresting officer, Ray Brennan. I need the police report, the security footage from the scene, and Brennan's full disciplinary record. I need it by tomorrow." Walsh had it by that evening. The security footage was the first thing Conrad watched. Clear, time-stamped, shot from a camera mounted on the back wall of the strip mall. It showed everything. 4 men, 1 girl on the ground. A kid walking into frame, gas station vest, worn-out shoes. He doesn't run. He steps in front of her. He pushes one of them back. He stands there. He doesn't leave. "That's him?" Conrad asked. "That's him," Lily said. Conrad watched it 3 more times, each time slower than the last. The second piece was Brennan's report, which told a completely different story. In Brennan's version, Travis initiated contact, displayed aggressive behavior, and escalated a verbal dispute into a physical confrontation. There was no mention of Lily being cornered, no mention of Derek's crew, no mention of the security footage, because Brennan had never requested it. The camera was visible from the alley. Anyone standing there could see it. Brennan chose not to look. The third piece was Brennan's disciplinary file. 3 prior complaints of racial bias, all from the last 5 years. One from a black teenager stopped for matching a description that didn't exist. One from a Hispanic family during a traffic stop. One from a fellow officer who reported Brennan's language during a department meeting. All 3 complaints had been investigated. All 3 had been buried. No action taken. Conrad closed the folder slowly, set it on the table, looked at Hank. "Call the chapter presidents, all of them." Hank raised an eyebrow. "All of them?" "Every single one. Southeast, Mid-Atlantic, Northeast, Gulf Coast. I want leadership on a call by midnight." "What's the plan?" Conrad looked at the security footage frozen on the laptop screen. A kid standing between a girl and 4 men wearing a gas station vest and shoes that were falling apart. "The plan is justice," The right way. Every step legal. Every move documented. And when we walk into that courthouse, I want them to feel the ground shake. Hank nodded, picked up his phone. The ground was about to shake. The morning of the hearing, Travis ironed his only dress shirt. White. One small stain on the cuff that wouldn't come out no matter how many times he scrubbed it. He buttoned it up, tucked it into his cleanest pair of pants, and looked at himself in the bathroom mirror. He looked like a kid playing dress-up for a trial that could end his life. Denise drove him to the courthouse. Neither of them spoke for most of the ride. The legal aid attorney assigned to his case, a man named Gerald something, Travis couldn't remember his last name, had met with him once, for 20 minutes. He'd skimmed the file, said, "We'll see what we can do," and told Travis to dress nice. That was the entire defense strategy. Dress nice. They parked 2 blocks away because the lot was full. Travis stepped out and started walking toward the building. Denise walked beside him, her hand on his arm. The morning was overcast. Gray sky, gray concrete, everything gray. Then he felt it. Not heard, felt. A vibration in the ground, low and steady, like the earth was humming. Denise stopped. Travis stopped. They both looked down the street. Headlights. Coming around the corner in a line so long he couldn't see the end of it. The sound built. Engine after engine after engine. Chrome flashing under the gray sky. Leather vests. Formation writing. Tight. Disciplined. Deliberate. Not a gang. Not a mob. An army of purpose. 200 motorcycles rolled into the courthouse parking lot and filled it completely. The engines cut one by one, last row first, then the next, until the final bike at the front shut off and the silence hit like a wall. Travis couldn't move. A man stepped off the lead motorcycle. Mid-50s, broad shoulders, silver hair pulled back. Full iron oath vest with a president's patch. He pulled off his gloves and walked directly toward Travis. Every biker stayed by their machine. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. The man stopped 3 feet from Travis and looked at him. Not down at him. Not past him. At him. "You don't know me, but you saved my daughter's life. And I don't forget that." Travis blinked. "Your daughter?" Conrad glanced over his shoulder. Lily stepped out from behind Hank Dawson, standing at the edge of the formation. She looked at Travis and nodded. Just once. Travis looked back at Conrad. The $90 million empire. The 200 bikers. The leather vest. The man whose daughter he'd shielded in an alley behind a strip mall, without knowing any of this existed. "My name is Conrad Anderson," he said, "and this is your attorney." Edmund Walsh stepped forward. Charcoal suit, leather briefcase. The kind of calm that comes from winning cases for 20 years. "Mr. Griffin, I've reviewed your case, the security footage, and Officer Brennan's full record. You won't be saying a word in that courtroom today. I will." Travis looked at Denise. She was crying. She nodded. They walked in together. The courtroom was small. Wood-paneled walls. A judge. A prosecutor. Officer Brennan sitting in the second row, arms crossed, looking confident. Derek Holloway and his crew at the back in their own seats, smirking. Walsh didn't waste time. "Your Honor, I'd like to enter 3 pieces of evidence." The first was the security footage. Walsh connected a laptop to the courtroom monitor and pressed play. The room went silent. On screen, Lily on the ground, 4 men standing over her. Derek crouching, talking. Then, a figure walks into frame. Gas station vest, worn-out shoes. He doesn't hesitate. He steps between the girl and all 4 of them. He pushes one back. He stands there. He doesn't leave. He doesn't attack. He shields her with his body until the sirens come. The footage ran for 2 minutes and 14 seconds. Nobody in that courtroom breathed. Walsh paused the video. The second piece of evidence is Officer Brennan's police report, which describes Mr. Griffin as the aggressor who initiated physical contact and escalated the confrontation. As the court can see, the footage tells a very different story. Furthermore, this footage was captured by a camera visible from the scene. Officer Brennan never requested it. Brennan uncrossed his arms. The third piece of evidence is Officer Brennan's disciplinary file. 3 prior complaints of racial bias, all investigated, all buried. No corrective action taken. Walsh set the folder on the judge's bench. Your Honor, my client is an 18-year-old honor student who works 2 jobs to support his sick grandmother. On the night in question, he encountered a young woman being threatened by 4 adult men. He intervened. He used minimal physical contact, a single push to create distance between the aggressor and the victim. He then stood his ground until law enforcement arrived. For this, he was handcuffed, detained, and charged with felony assault, not because of what he did, but because of what he looks like. Silence. The prosecutor stood, adjusted his glasses, looked at the footage frozen on screen, then at Brennan, then at the judge. Your Honor, the state moves to dismiss all charges against Travis Griffin. The judge nodded. Charges dismissed. Mr. Griffin, you're free to go. She looked at him over her glasses. The court recognizes your bravery, young man. Then she turned to the prosecutor. I'm referring Officer Brennan's conduct to Internal Affairs for immediate review. And I want Mr. Holloway's bail status reconsidered by end of day. Derek's smirk disappeared. Brennan stared at the floor. Travis stood. His legs felt like they weren't his. Walsh put a hand on his shoulder. It's over. They walked out of the courtroom into daylight. 200 bikers stood in rows on either side of the courthouse steps, engines off, helmets at their sides, standing in silence, standing in respect. Conrad walked to the top of the steps. Local news cameras had arrived. Someone had tipped them off. He didn't care. He spoke clearly, loudly, and without notes. This young man didn't know my daughter. He didn't know her name. He didn't know who I was. He had nothing to gain and everything to lose. But when he saw someone in trouble, he didn't walk away. He stepped forward. Conrad paused. Courage doesn't check your skin color before it shows up. He let that sit, then continued. Anderson Logistics will cover all outstanding medical expenses for Ruth Griffin, Travis's grandmother. Every bill, every specialist, every prescription, fully covered. And today, I'm establishing the Griffin Courage Scholarship, a fund for young people who do the right thing when nobody's watching. Travis stood at the bottom of the steps, looking up at this man he'd never met, who'd just dismantled 3 weeks of injustice in a single morning. You didn't have to do all this, Travis said. Conrad looked at him. Steady, warm. The kind of look a father gives when he sees something in a young man that reminds him of everything he wishes he'd been. Neither did you. 200 bikers, silent. The courthouse steps. The gray sky breaking open just enough to let the light through. That was the moment. 3 weeks later, Ruth came home. Travis pushed her wheelchair up the ramp, a ramp that hadn't been there when she left. Neither had the new front door, or the fresh coat of paint on the porch, or the window that used to be plywood and was now glass. Ruth looked at all of it and didn't say a word. She just held on to the armrests of the wheelchair and stared. Inside was the same, and completely different. The kitchen had a new refrigerator, full. The lights were on, every single one. The leaky faucet that had dripped for 2 years was fixed. The hallway closet had a new water heater behind it. Ruth's bedroom had fresh sheets, a new mattress, and her medication organizer sitting on the nightstand, every slot full. Iron Oath members had done it all, quietly, over 2 weekends. No cameras, no publicity. They showed up with tools and groceries and didn't leave until the job was done. Ruth sat in her living room, looked around, then looked at Travis. Who did all this? People who wanted to help, Grandma. She nodded. Then she cried. Not sad crying, the other kind. The kind that comes when you've been holding everything together for so long that the moment someone else holds it for you, your body doesn't know what to do except let go. Travis sat beside her and held her hand. No words, just presence. Just the sound of a house that finally felt like it was breathing again, the same way she'd done for him his entire life. Just being there. Lily came by the next day. She and Travis sat on the new porch steps, sanded, painted, solid. A long way from the cracked concrete he used to sit on. I should have told you who my dad was, Lily said. Wouldn't have changed what I did. I know. That's why I didn't. They sat in comfortable silence for a while. 2 people from different worlds who'd ended up on the same porch, drinking coffee, watching cars go by. My dad wants to offer you a summer internship, Lily said. Operations Department, Anderson Logistics. Travis looked at her. A real job? A real job, real pay, real experience. He said you'd have to earn it. Travis thought about it for exactly 3 seconds. Okay, I'm in. Lily smiled, and for the first time since he'd known her, the smile reached her eyes. That week, Patricia Moore personally walked Travis's reinstatement paperwork through the school district office. AP exam rescheduled. Suspension removed from his record. She hand-delivered the confirmation to his door. I told you I'd keep trying, she said. You did, Mrs. Moore. You did. 6 months later. Travis Griffin sat in a conference room at Anderson Logistics, wearing a company polo, taking notes. Around him, managers discussed freight routes and quarterly forecasts. He was out of his depth. He didn't care. He was learning. Conrad stood in the doorway, watching. Hank leaned over and said, Kid reminds me of you at that age. Conrad shook his head. He's better. After work, Travis drove home. A used car, bought with his own paychecks. Nothing fancy, but it was his. He walked in the door. Ruth was in the kitchen. The lights were on, the fridge was full. Dinner was on the stove. How was work, baby? Good, Grandma. Real good. They ate together, quietly. Oatmeal had become pot roast, but the love at that table hadn't changed. On his way out, Travis drove past the bus stop where he'd first seen Lily. A kid was sitting there alone, oversized jacket, staring at nothing. Travis pulled over, rolled down the window, smiled. Hey, you okay? Man, doing the right thing won't always feel rewarding. Sometimes it breaks you first. Character isn't built in comfort. It's built when you got every reason to walk away, and you still show up. That's real strength.